academic calendar in Nigeria has suffered great setback in 2020, mainly for two reasons: the compulsory coronavirus outbreak and the suspension of academic activities occasioned by the hijacked NSAS protests. Candidates of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination were left in uncertainties with the initial cancellation and subsequent postponement of the examination due to the ravaging coronavirus. On the 17th of August, the candidates finally began the examination and ended on 12th of September. Now, the results are out. How was the candidates' general performance in the midst of a global crisis that almost brought the world to its knees? This and more will be our focus on Panorama today, coming to you from the Lagos Network Center of the NTA. I am Adeola Komiakiri. Thanks for joining us. Now, a delocalized meeting of the ECOWAS Parliament is underway in Cotonou, Benin Republic. ECOWAS Parliament Joint Committee on Trade, Customs and Free Movement, as well as that of macroeconomic policy and economic research, that of public accounts, administration, finance and budget, will be discussing the prospects and challenges of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Anangia Fineface reports that the meeting will make these considerations within the context of cross-border threats like terrorism, insecurity, pandemics, and protectionism. Meanwhile, the federal government is reassuring Nigerians and the international community that everything will be done within the limits of the law towards ascertaining the veracity or otherwise of all the allegations of impunity in the country, with a view to dealing appropriately with those found wanting. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, who stated this, however, warned against rushing to judgment without getting to know the facts. The minister was speaking at an interactive engagement with international journalists in the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the reports.
The media parley, attended by the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Defense, Finance, Justice, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, as well as Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, was organized by the Presidential Communications Team to put the record straight as regards recent developments in the country occasioned by the NSAS protests.
There have been different kinds of reportage, particularly from the international media. Some informed, some not quite informed, some downright incorrect. And we just felt it was necessary to invite these international journalists so that we can share perspectives with them. Because if they have background information, I don't think journalists set out deliberately to skew reports.
Consequently, the ministers took turns to put into perspectives issues relating to their areas of jurisdiction. Justice Minister Abubakar Malami in particular told the journalists that with fake news, hate speeches and photoshopping now the order of the day in Nigeria, no single allegation of impunity in respect of the Lekki incident can be taken hook, line and sinker.
Our position as a government is that the element of shooting or otherwise, deaths or otherwise, relating to the Lekki scene is indeed a subject of investigation.
The military lured to participate in this operation. That is what we understood, and we are restrained by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces not to use force in any way. So who ordered the shooting? We ordered for an investigation, and it's still on.
All the actions taken by government in that regard are very clear to everybody. As a commitment to respecting the right of the protesters, you will agree with me that the protests were not violent, their rights were respected, there was nobody molested, and there was no incident until when the hoodlums took over.
I really don't see exactly how this protest affects the PIB at all. In fact, the PIB is to help to resolve some of these issues around job creation. A lot of opportunities will be created, and we also believe that the PIB is going to enable a lot of investment, new investments coming to Nigeria.
Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed insists that the Buhari administration deserves commendation for keeping the economy running despite the negative impact of COVID-19 as well as the crash in the crude oil price.
The President directed that we must make sure that salaries are paid, so we have not defaulted in paying salaries. We have been able to provide running costs to government on a continuous basis. We've even been able to provide capital funding that is higher than even previous years, that in terms of performance prorated than previous years that we didn't have a recession.
Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama described as unfortunate that some countries made comments in respect of the NSAS protests in Nigeria that were critical, but only to realize later that they were jumping the guns.
What was accepted as fact, turning out not to have been the case.
The interactive engagement between the federal government officials and media practitioners continues. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The wanton destruction of property carried out by some unidentified hoodlums under the guise of NSAS protest affected many public and private businesses, and the marks are still everywhere attesting to this wastage. Here in Lagos, victims are collating their losses to enable them pick up the pieces and get back to work. That is why the Managing Director, Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, toured the vandalized headquarters of the authority and assured maritime operators that business operations will be sustained without any form of delay or setback. Abolade Salami reports.
This 7-story building situated in Panorama Road in Lagos Island serves as the corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Port Authority, NTA, where cargo handling and maritime service operations are carried out. On the wake of the NSAS protest, when youths were demanding an end to all forms of police brutality, some unscrupulous persons took advantage of the protest to loot and vandalize both private and government property, and MP was not spared. To assess the level of damage and impact of the fire on the building, the managing director said NPA's operation is not affected, while proper investigation has commenced to ascertain the financial implication of the damage.
What is paramount is our services are not interrupted. Our networks and our systems have been functional. Within 2 days of the incident, we're able to resume all port operations continued within 24 hours of the attack. We're also able to ensure that critical information and documents are safe. All our financing and payment systems have been protected and we're not in any way affected.
Although no casualty was recorded, but the annex wing of the building and about 27 vehicles belonging to NPA and members of staff were burnt. Thus, the management said, will be documented while other necessary actions will be taken. She emphasized that the Nigerian Ports Authority will not be deterred in carrying out its constitutional role of offering cargo handling and storage services. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
41 suspects arrested by operatives of the NNSB Craft Western Naval Command in connection with the looting and destruction of public and private properties across Lagos State have been handed over to the Nigeria Police Lagos Command. Lynn Nedeke reports that goods worth 100 million naira were recovered from the suspects.
A few weeks ago, the city of Lagos witnessed systematic disruption never before seen. The peaceful NSAS protest was hijacked by hoodlums who looted and vandalized valuable assets which almost crippled Lagos' economy. Unfortunately, luck ran out of these ones as they were apprehended by operatives of the NNSB Craft at locations under their purview.
41 individuals were arrested for partaking in various criminal acts, including looting and attacks on innocent citizens of the state.
Commander Beecroft, Commodore Ibrahim Shatima, represented, said some of the arrested youths were responsible for the attack on the NPA building and other private and public property across the metropolis.
Home personnel responded quickly on receipt of a distress call by the management. On deployment, our personnel arrested some of the hoodlums and have evacuated some NPA staff to the base, some of which required medical attention.
The Nigerian Navy says it will collaborate with other law enforcement agencies and Lagos state government to ensure that the looted goods get to the rightful owners, while ensuring the complete restoration of peace, law and order. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
About 420 officers and men of the newly formed Special Weapons and Tactics Team of the Nigeria Police Force are currently undergoing training at the Mobile Police Force Training School, NTA Hill, Nasarawa. Francis Form reports.
SARS out, SWAT in. SWAT, a creation of agitations against SARS, so their conduct is what the public is eager to see.
2 assault rifles recovered. I confirm and to withdraw my men over.
Young, smart and energetic, drawn from different formations, with 7 to 10 years working experience and a clean record of service. These are the requirements. Temporary landlords, as it were, at the Mobile Police Force Training Facility in NTA Hills, Nasarawa, busy with drills, professional ethics, intelligence gathering, hostage tactics, and weapon handling.
Nigerians should accept good performance and sound professionalism with human face, because the whole training and the SWAT exercise is intelligence-driven operation.
The Minister of the Supervising Ministry, here again to supervise the personnel with a moral-boosting message.
Government will continue to do whatever is possible to ensure that you perform creditably. Mr. President is fully committed to reforming the police in this country.
And we see that the training, both the tactical and the armed and unarmed training, is going excellently well.
The SWAT's training is taking place in 3 police force training schools across the country. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama, coming to you from the Lagos Network Center. Time now for a break. The news continues shortly. Please do stay with us.
It's an evil practice abolished all over the world over 200 years ago. But today, human traffickers are selling human beings as slaves in Africa. It is your responsibility to make sure that you and the people you know do not fall into slavery. Don't believe fake promises of jobs abroad.
People went to say Libya, Italy. Italy no use you when they carry me on top water. 4 days now they lock me for inside house, no food, no water. I nearly die. Now God, when me heaven and earth, now save me. If you get 1 naira for Nigeria, you get junior 1, you say you no get papa, you no get mama, that make you come out. I beg go they do farm work. You better pass person when enter road.
Don't accept to travel to Europe through the Sahara Desert. You may be walking into slavery. Don't be a slave.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Thank you for staying with us. The West African Examination Council (WAEC) has released the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results with 65.25% pass rate, an improvement on last year's 64% pass rate. Hengino John Adams gives us details.
Briefing the press in Lagos, head of Nigeria National Office of the Council, Patrick Aregan, disclosed that out of the 1,538,445 candidates that sat for the exam, 1,456,727, representing 94.69%, have their results fully processed and released. while 81,718, that is 5.31%, have few of their subjects still being processed due to some errors committed by the candidates. 86.99% of the candidates, as against last year's 82.35%, obtained credit and above in minimum of 5 subjects, with or without English language and mathematics.
The results of 215,149 candidates, representing 13.98% of the total number of candidates that sat the examination, are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. The examination was also conducted in Chibok local government area of Borno State, the first time since the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls in the area by insurgents 6 years ago.
In the month of April, candidates of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination were left in uncertainties as a result of the initial cancellation and subsequent postponement of the examination caused by the coronavirus pandemic. On 17th of August, the candidates' anxiety was fully put to rest as the examination began with mathematics and ended on September 12. Barely 2 months after the examination, the results are out. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Joining us via Zoom to deliberate on performance of students in 2020 WASE is an educationist, Babatunde Oluwajo. Welcome to Panorama, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, let's begin with the candidates' general performance. This year, 65.24% of them obtained credits and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics, slightly above that of last year, which was 64%, while 86.99% obtained credit and above in any 5 subjects with or without English language and mathematics, as against last year's 82.35%. Now, what could be the reason for this improvement, even amidst challenges faced by the sector as a result of the coronavirus pandemic?
Honestly, I must confess that the performance came to me as a surprise, given the challenges we have all faced. The fact that the students have been at home for a minimum of about 6-5 months, and in some cases probably more than. Given the disruptions we have seen in learning, and given the fact that we have to struggle to adapt technology to meet the needs of our students, I must confess that it's coming as a shock. But then, if you look at the flip side, I think it's a reflection of the resilience of the average Nigerian. The fact that even in the face of hardship, Nigerians have a way of overcoming these challenges. And even if you look outside the educational sector, you have seen how resilient Nigerians have been. In the past 5-6 months, in the face of COVID, in the lack of new support, in the face of a lack of and depth of infrastructure that could help them adapt to the reality of life under COVID, which is, even in countries with all these infrastructures, they struggled. But I think the resilient spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit of the average Nigerian must have come to the fore, and we must have seen the Nigerian student adapt to the reality of life, or what we can call the new normal. And I think that must have contributed, because it is still a surprise to me that we had this level of performance, in the O-level exams.
Okay, now, WAEC revealed on Monday that the exam was conducted in Chibok for the first time since the abduction of 200 schoolgirls 6 years ago. What does this mean to the education sector?
Well, I will commend WAEC, and then I will say, too, I want to commend our security forces, in ensuring that the environment around Chibok was conducive for education. And then I equally want to commend the parents. And most importantly, I want to commend the students. Because for me, the students, I can imagine the trauma of having to go sit for exam in a place where, that number of school kids were abducted.
many of whom today is still unaccounted for. I think I commend that spirit, that Nigerian spirit in all of us, and I commend the parents who didn't allow what happened in Chibok, to deter them from allowing their kids to still pursue education. And I equally want to use this moment to appeal to the Nigerian government to please ensure that these areas are made safe, not just for girls, but equally for all kids who want to be in school so that they can be in school. We owe this to ourselves. We owe this to the next generation to ensure that at least they have access to education, because we know education itself is a vaccine against many of the ills that is affecting our society, be it ignorance, be it extremism, be it insecurity, be it banditry. Because an educated mind is not just liberated, but it is a mind that can be mobilized for social good.
Okay, education is a vaccine. That's a very good one. Now, there were uncertainties at first on whether candidates should sit for the exams or not, considering the fact that it is not only a Nigerian affair. But at last, they have written the exams and the results are out. Could this be a plus to the country, and why? Okay, I am talking about the uncertainties that trailed the students. They were apprehensive. They were not sure if they were going to, take that exams. Now, considering the fact that, it is not only a Nigerian affair that is writing WAEC, now they have written the exams. Is this a plus to the country or not?
I would say that, we should commend ourselves as a nation that we're able to put this through. Because, like I said, even in countries without our own type of experiencing security, a lack of infrastructure, lack of any form of emergency preparation, they have to struggle. But somehow, that resilience in the average Nigerian has come to the fore, and we're able to pull this through. And I think it's commendable. But the question is, what next? Do we want to build on this and start to build our infrastructure, start to address insecurity, start to make schools safe for our kids, and then start to recognize the primacy, of the place of education in national development? That is the question. We don't have to get to the brink as a nation. We like this bricksmanship, where until things want to collapse on us, that's when you see us start to struggle. And I simply think as a nation, we should learn from this and then start to put in place structures, sustainable structures, lasting structures that can make us respond, not just only to COVID, because after COVID, who knows what the next global emergency will be, or it may even be a local emergency. We need to really start to invest in the critical infrastructures that will make us resilient and that will make it possible for our kids, to continue to.
Babatunde Oluwajo, for your thoughts on this issue on Panorama. Latest figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control indicates that 72 new cases of the coronavirus have been confirmed as of the 2nd of November 2020, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 63,036. The cases were recorded in 9 states of the Federation, including the FCT. Lagos recorded the daily highest of 51, FCT 6, Ogun 4, Kaduna 3, Niger, Ondo, and Plateau have 2 cases each, while Katsina and Oyo have 1 case each. Total number of those discharged is 59,328, while 1,147 deaths have been recorded across the country. Hostilities continue at the ongoing Handball Premier League holding at the Indoor Sports Hall of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Gift Judge has this and more on Sports Update.
Results from match day 3 of the ongoing Prudent Energy Handball Premier League, as at the time of filing this report, shows that Plateau Vipers beat Kada Stars 23-19, Borno Spiders 26, Lagos Seasiders 25, Defenders 29, Rima Strikers 22, Adorable Angels 33, Defender Babes 36. Nigeria's top lady professional golfer, Georgia Obo, is getting set for the inaugural Saudi Arabia Open, which tees off on November 12th. The 19-year-old, who has already played 8 European Ladies Open Tour since after the lockdown, will be competing against 108 pro lady golfers from 6 countries. The first event is individual ladies stroke play over 72 holes, and the second one is the team event.
It's a great stepping stone for my career, with the opportunity to earn world ranking points in the build-up to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
Balls Activating Literary and Leadership had an online mentorship session with basketball pundit Femi Adefeso. The session featured MFM women basketball player Ukamaka Oko, who combines playing basketball and making shoes. The program with the team, Women Winning in Sports, is focused on using athletes as role models to mentor and inspire career paths and opportunities in sports.
Growing sports and showing the way to others. That sports is beyond just running on the field, kicking a football, throwing a basketball. It's a whole value chain. It's a full career.
On the foreign scene, Match Day 3 of the UEFA Champions League, slated for Tuesday, will see Shakhtar Donetsk against Mönchengladbach. Lokomotiv Moscow hosts Atletico Madrid. Salzburg face defending champions Bayern Munich, while Man City takes on Olympiacos. In other matches, it will be Porto against Marseille, Atlanta tackles English champions Liverpool, and Midtjylland plays host to Ajax. With sports updates, Gift George, NTA News.
That's Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. I am Adeola Komiakiri.